Geralt of Rivia, the stud witcher who was only abstinent when recovering from bad injuries, is a real chick magnet. I don't mean to be crass, but this guy fucked. I actually had to go back and check that Geralt doesn't have a single roll in the hay throughout the entire course of Baptism of Fire or Tower of the Swallow. Even saying that now, it feels like a mistake since he always seems to be laying pipe. But hey, when you're incapable of accidentally knocking somebody up or contracting or transmitting STDs, maybe he might as well bone to your heart's desire. And oh boy, Geralt does. So we're going to be talking about all of the lucky ladies Geralt has a romantic experience with. Yennefer of Vengerberg. After Dandelion is badly injured by a djinn caught while fishing, Geralt seeks help from the sorceress who he has yet to meet, staying in a nearby town. He enters the home she's staying at and finds her stirring in bed. When she realizes Geralt is an unexpected visitor, she uses magic to blast him back against the wall. Geralt quickly explains himself and what he needs for help. The mage is introduced as Yennefer. She takes the quick unexpected fascination in him and pretty soon nurses Dandelion back to health. Her help doesn't come free, as Geralt soon learns. Yennefer demands the djinn's seal, and then she uses a spell to take control of Geralt's mind and sends him into town to punish those who have recently wronged her, which ends with Geralt in jail facing execution. Yen has Dandelion make his final wish so that she can harness the djinn's power, but little does she know, Geralt was the one with the wishes, and so far, he's only made 2. After being released from jail, Geralt attempts to stop Yennefer from controlling the djinn, revealing that he's the one with the wishes. Knowing that once the djinn is free, it will certainly kill Yen, his final wish, presumably, is to bound his fate to Yennefer's in an effort to save her from the creature's wrath. Astounded by his wish, Yennefer views Geralt in a new light, and they make love for the first time. This leads to a long, tumultuous on and off relationship filled with love, lust, longing, regret, hope, and fear. Fringilla Vigo. On their mission to locate and rescue Ciri, the Hansa, consisting of Geralt, Milva, Regis, Cahir, and Dandelion, make their way to the Duchy of Toussaint. There, they are graciously welcomed to Beauclair Palace, as Dandelion had been a previous lover of the Duchess Anna Henrietta. Like his buddy Geralt, Dandelion is also a guy who fucked. Anna Henrietta's friend and relative, the sorceress Fringilla Vigo, also happened to be staying in the palace during that time. So during the Festival of the Vat, a traditional ceremony based around wine in Toussaint, Geralt is asked to participate alongside Dandelion and the Duchess as the one who escorts Fringilla when she and the Duchess stomp some grapes. The first encounter between the sorceress and the witcher is charged from the fun and excitement of the festival and the close physical contact required by their roles in the ceremony. That night, at the palace feast, they are seated next to each other at dinner, where an agreement is made for Fringilla to help Geralt in his Ciri rescue efforts, along with some flirtation. Geralt later finds Fringilla in the library, where the flirtation becomes more suggestive and rapidly transitions into lovemaking amongst stacks of books that keep falling on them as they get busy. That is, until Geralt has the incredibly clever idea of moving things to a bed. Geralt and the company wintered in Toussaint, and during this whole period, the affair with Fringilla continued. It wasn't a very honest one, though. Geralt referred to Fringilla as Yennefer on more than one occasion during the act, and Fringilla was reporting the Witcher's actions back to the Lodge, who were set on finding Ciri before anyone else could. The affair continued until Geralt and the Hansa left Toussaint upon learning Vilgefortz's whereabouts. They made love one last time in the palace stables right before Geralt shared false information about the location of Vilgefortz's hideout. Fringilla used this information to give to the Lodge, leading to her humiliation when they discovered that Geralt duped her. So, no dubs here. Lied and naed. While visiting the country of Karak, Geralt was arrested for embezzlement after the sorceress Lydeneid, or Quarrel, who was staying in Karak at the time, tipped off King Belahun about details on Geralt's recent Witcher jobs. After spending a week in jail, Geralt visited the sorceress to confront her about landing him in the clink. She gave him vague information about doing this for her associates who have plans for Geralt. To spite Quarrel, he ignored her provocative advances and instead checked out her young apprentice, Mosaic. A few days later, when Geralt ran into Quarrel's apprentice in town, with her hand magically twisted backwards, a punishment her mistress inflicted upon her for Geralt's behavior, Geralt returned to Quarrel's home to confront her again, but this time, he ended up in her bed, where he stayed for a week. Aside from the bonus to playing the horizontal tango, Quirrell also helped Geralt out by using magic to locate his stolen swords. She also eventually sent him to her mage associates, who had their big plans for the Witcher, but when he returned to Karak after those missions were done, the romance between the two had run its course and did not continue. Mosaic. When Geralt parted ways with Quirrell for good, he was not alone in his disdain for her decision to protect her home instead of helping others during a deadly storm in Karak. Her apprentice, Mosaic, decided to join Geralt and Dandelion when they left the country. They traveled together and slept with each other during their travels for a short period of time, until Geralt realized that Mosaic's life would be better in the long run if she returned to her mistress Quirrell. Tissaia Frevi. Shortly after parting ways with Mosaic, Geralt and Dandelion continue their travels while Geralt still had not recovered his stolen swords. One evening, while dining at an inn, Geralt is accosted by the infamous Witcher Bran. Knowing that Geralt is swordless, Bran threatens the life of a nearby priestess until Geralt agrees to fight him. At this moment, one of the other inn-goers, a young pretty woman, presents Geralt with his swords, and Bran cowardly leaves the inn. Now that things have cooled down, the woman who gave Geralt his swords introduces herself as Tissaia Frevi, a young sorceress, and explains that Yennefer commissioned her to locate Geralt and return his beloved weapons. The two spend the rest of the night closing down the inn, feasting and drinking expensive estes, until the merriment is brought to an end when Tissaia heads to her room for bed. But the fun actually doesn't end here. Geralt knocks on her door and is graciously welcomed in. The next morning, Geralt concludes that Tissaia must have used a spell to put him to sleep, since he didn't wake to the sound of her sneaking out before dawn. She did, however, leave him with what was probably a pleasant memory and a white rose on the bedside table. Vea. When Geralt's about to have his possessions stolen on a job, a stranger known as Bork Three Jackdaws uses his free warrior Zerrikanian escorts, Teia and Vea, to scare off the would-be thieves. Geralt joins the group at an inn where they eat and drink a lot. The evening comes to a close with Bork suggesting the warriors are slamming in bed, and takes the party to his private room containing a tub large enough to fit the whole group. Now, the events that took place within that room are not spelled out for us, but it's heavily implied that they got down to business, especially later when Bork tells Geralt that Vea will long remember the tub at the Pensive Dragon. Triss Merigold. Geralt and Triss originally met when he was involved with Yennefer, as Yen and Triss were close friends. Triss had many disappointing affairs with other mages, so when she met Geralt, a very different kind of man, she became jealous of he and Yen's relationship. This jealousy turned into a fascination, and that fascination led her to moving in on Geralt after one of the times he and Yen parted ways. She used magic to seduce the Witcher, in addition to taking advantage of his vulnerable state. Triss found the romantic satisfaction she'd been looking for in Geralt, but when they parted ways, she felt a deep pain for wanting him again. The consequences of the affair included unrequited feelings on Triss's side, a rift in her relationship with Yen, and guilt for Geralt. Essentially, Geralt and Triss's romance was a big mistake. Morraine. Geralt was sent to the Dryad-inhabited Brokilon forest more than once as an envoy for local monarchs, bringing terms to leader Eithne. On his first visit, he met Eithne's daughter, Morraine, and slept with her, a common practice in the forest used for breeding new Dryads, but of course, as a Witcher, Geralt could not serve that purpose. On his most recent liaison operation, he learned, sadly, that Morraine had been killed defending Brokilon from foreign invaders. Shanny. At the University of Oxenfurt, Dandelion asked his friend Shanny, a med student, to go meet Geralt, who was currently hiding out nearby from Temerian and Redanian agents. In the short time between Geralt and Shanny's meeting that day, Geralt and Shanny managed to become acquainted well enough to find it appropriate to play a round of hide the sausage. This game, however, was cut short by Dandelion when he showed up to warn Geralt about the news he had just received, reporting information to the spymaster Dijkstra and the sorceress Philippa Eilhart. Although their romance was limited to one evening, as far as we know, Shanny was able to help Geralt locate Rience, the mage who'd been hunting Ciri. So, while it was a short-lived encounter, it proved fruitful nonetheless. Yola. After fighting the Striga, King Foltest's cursed daughter, Geralt recovers from the Striga-inflicted injuries at the Melitele Temple with the help of Mother Nenneke. One of Nenneke's treatments for Geralt's mind is to send one of her priestesses, Yola, who had taken a vow of silence, to Geralt's bed. where the two shared a night together as he thought about Yennefer. Their connection was not limited to just one night, as Geralt later spends time with her and expresses a lot of his feelings and vulnerabilities, something we don't see often from the White Wolf. And it's a great moment for the reader to learn more about Geralt and Witchers in general. So thanks, Mother Nenica. Great work. Renfri. In the town of Blaviken, Geralt is told by the alderman to bring the carcass of the Kiki Mora he just killed to the local wizard. The wizard turns out to be Stregobor, a mage who Geralt had already known and wasn't too fond of. Stregobor asks Geralt to kill a girl, Renfri, who followed him to Blaviken, to seek revenge for his determination to vilify her as a sufferer of the curse of the Black Sun and his subsequent treatment of her. After Geralt later meets Renfri at the local inn, she pays Geralt a late-night visit to explain her side of the conflict with Stregobor. After some talking, the two decide to have a little bedroom rodeo. Although they shared a night of intimacy, it means nothing the next day when Geralt kills Renfri's men and then Renfri in an effort to defend the townsfolk from the hostage plans he thought that she would commit against them. So this one's up there with the more tragic love connections he's had. Essie Davin. Out of money, Dandelion accepts a performing job at a wedding in Bremivord while he and Geralt are in town hungry and homeless. At the wedding, Dandelion introduces Geralt to his troubadour colleague, Essie Davin, also known as Little Eye. The very night, Geralt and Little Eye share an unexpected kiss while alone on the balcony outside the party. Although confused and embarrassed by the kiss, Little Eye accompanies Geralt while he inspects the scene of a recent attack on local pearl divers, and the two get to know each other a little better. When Geralt and Dandelion return to the beach later, they get attacked by sea-dwelling creatures who they barely escape from with the help of a mermaid. Little Eye helps patch up Geralt and Dandelion's wounds, but is left alone with Geralt when Dandelion steps out for a date. She uses this opportunity to confess her sudden love for Geralt. Still in love with Yennefer, battling his own demons, and also not knowing Essie very well, results in him not returning those feelings, leaving her heartbroken. But later, when Geralt, Dandelion, and Little Eye leave Bremivord together, Geralt and Little Eye do it. This happens right before they part ways for the last time ever, as Little Eye sadly dies a few years later. These were just the women that we're told of, but I'm sure our boy had a lot more love connections that did not take place within the context of these books. Thank you guys for joining me for yet another Witcher lore video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos, so I know if you want to see more like these. And leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on Geralt's active love life, and also let me know what other pieces of lore you'd like to see me explore. What other pieces of lore you'd like to see me explore in a future video.